All right, bikes I regret selling and buying. Let's talk about bikes that I really regret selling first, because I feel like that's more fun. Without a doubt, the Yamaha WR250R is my #1 regret of motorcycles that I've sold. Oh my God, I miss this bike at least once a week, and I think to myself, why did I sell that thing? It was such an amazing motorcycle. I have a very big soft spot for Yamaha's WR, and to me, it's just the perfect do-anything dual sport lightweight ADV bike. I just loved it so much. And you might ask, well, Yam, why did you sell it? Well, it's a complicated story of why I bought it in the first place. I actually bought it as a giveaway motorcycle, but then before we launched it, I ended up looping it in a parking lot, which was really dumb of me. And then I was like, well, I don't want to give away a bike that I just looped. Like, let me just do a cash prize instead, and I'll just keep this bike and whatever. So it was never meant to be my motorcycle. And then it kind of became my bike. And I was like, dude, this thing is rad. I really, really like the WR. So started riding it around. I modified it a bunch. I put different tires on it, did some of the WR mods, did new handlebars, some upgrades here and there. I loved working on it. I thought it was very simple and intuitive. If you guys know about the WR, you know that it's basically unkillable. Its service intervals are ridiculous. It's like way overbuilt from Yamaha. It's just an awesome motorcycle. And although there's not a ton of like amazing dual sport riding in Texas, the vast majority of land here is private. There's enough to keep yourself entertained, and the WR is certainly capable enough to do those things. Weighing just a little under 300 pounds, making something like 36 horsepower, it was a really solid platform. And the only reason I sold it is because I thought to myself, well, I want a King Dick dual sport bike. So I got a Husky FE501, which I did really enjoy, but ultimately it was a bit too hardcore for like dual sport everyday usage. The WR just has this amazing way of going down the road. It's like low stakes enough to where you feel like you could do anything, but it's capable enough to do all sorts of things you wouldn't think it could do. I mean, seriously, there's videos of people doing insane things with stock WR250s, let alone a WR with a couple modifications. So yeah, I certainly have regrets selling my WR250. And on top of that, they don't make them brand new anymore. So if you want another WR, you're gonna have to buy somebody's used model. And I had a brand new one that I had bought from the dealership, which makes it even more bad that I sold it. I really hope Yamaha releases an update to the WR, much like Suzuki did for the DRZ 400, the new DRZ 4, and hopefully we get something fun and spicy. If not, I'm kind of waiting on Triumph to maybe make a dual sport, but I'm not holding my breath. Speaking of Triumph, the next motorcycle I regret selling is my Daytona 675R. Why did I sell this motorcycle, you might ask? Well, last year, my wife was pregnant, and we were living in Austin, which we're about to move back to. Very long story on that anyways. And I was like, man, we're about to have this baby, but to be pregnant. I was like, I don't think I'm going to do many track days or racing in the near future. And so I kind of just let it go. I figured I'd had enough fun with this bike, you know. I can always get another track bike. It's no big deal, whatever. And then I bought my 2009 Suzuki GSSR 600, which you guys may or may not have seen by the time this video goes live. And what I realized when I got this new to me GSSR 600 is that track bikes are not all made equal. And there is certainly something to be said for the amount of time, effort, and energy I put into the Daytona to make it perfect for me. I had everything dialed into perfection on that motorcycle, and it was just everything I wanted a track bike to be. And I'd recently done a big service on it. I painted the fairings, I did all this stuff to that bike, and I'm now thinking like, I could have just kept it in the corner of my garage. Why did I get rid of it? I wasn't really hurting for garage space. It's not like I needed extra room. I kind of got tired of like shuffling it around, you know, back and forth on the stand. But now I look back and I'm like, dude, I did not need to sell that motorcycle. But I wanted to try something new with the Gixxer, and I didn't realize how much energy it would take to get another track bike dialed in perfectly. I'm now to the point where I'm kind of like, I just want to pick up something from the dealership to ride on track and not really think about it much. I'm kind of looking at the Panigale V2S, the new one. That sounds pretty cool. And I'm also thinking about maybe a Yamaha R3 for the personal stable. Just because as much of a good deal as it is buying somebody else's clapped out track bike, setting them up and making them work correctly to be a proper like track spec machine is really, really annoying, to be honest. And so, yeah, I gave up all that, you know, sunk cost on the Daytona, but now I have a bike that I don't even like that much. So yeah, I definitely miss the Daytona a little bit. All right, let's switch gears and talk about bikes that I regret buying. So I actually have two that I'll kind of lump together because we actually did them as a combined sweepstakes back in 2020. We ended up getting 3 motorcycles at one time. We had the Triumph Street Scrambler, the Z650, and the Honda CBR 500R. I bought these bikes towards the end of 2020 into 2021. They were meant to be a wintertime sweepstakes or whatever. And the reason I regret buying both the CBR 500R and the Z650 is that they're both 180-degree parallel twin Japanese bikes that have very little personality. And so I had these 2 bikes that I had like really hard time making content about. I actually think I voiced my displeasure in those videos quite a bit, unfortunately. I just had such a hard time trying to get excited about riding them, trying to make content with them. I think they ended up being the record-breaking bikes in terms of I gave them away with like the least amount of miles put on any motorcycle I gave away. I think the CBR 500R had like 82 miles on it total. I didn't ride it basically at all. And that really was a lesson for me in that if we're gonna do giveaway bikes that I'm gonna make content about, I have to be excited about the bike we're giving away. Otherwise, what the hell is the point? Because I bought the Z650 and the CBR 500R basically as like, oh, like these are popular models, let's give them away, like this will be a good thing. But it was so hard trying to make videos about those things, man. I really just felt like it was just like pulling teeth making videos about the Z650 and the CBR 500R. Oh my god, I will never do that again. Every giveaway bike I buy now for the channel, I'm genuinely pumped and excited about. I no longer do these bikes that I'm just like, well, I guess I gotta do this motorcycle because I'm not subjecting myself to that.
All right, this is a special giveaway. This is a Triumph Street Triple 765 RS, and it's available over on YamiNoob.co. Sign up as a member for your best chance to win. You'll rack up your entries, join the Discord server. It is a ton of fun. You'll get discounts on merch and access to our amazing newsletter. You'll also get the ability to submit your bikes to me for the live stream. If you've ever wondered, where do I get all these bikes for the live stream and who are all these people? Well, they're from the Discord server. So if you want to join on a deeper level and get access to win some amazing motorcycles, go to YamiNoob.co and don't delay. Papa Yam's giving away 54 motorcycles in his time doing this on YouTube. That's a ridiculous amount of bikes.
But now let me talk about bikes I don't regret getting rid of, and one certainly comes to mind, and it's my Turbo Hayabusa. There are times where I do miss the Turbo Busa because it was like the most ridiculous motorcycle to own. Like hardly anyone gets the chance to ride a Turbo Busa, let alone own a Turbo Busa. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to own one, ride it, enjoy it, and I live to tell the tale. I know what boost feels like on a motorcycle, and I can tell you it's the greatest feeling in the world. But I really was kind of done with that bike. It was nothing but headaches, nothing but problems, and I kind of made all the content I needed to make on it because it got to the point where people were kind of tired of seeing it on the channel, to be honest. You know, I'd go take it out for a vlog, I'd go take it for a ride, and people just didn't really care that much anymore. It was a lot of fun building it, putting it together, troubleshooting it, and then getting it to run right and doing all the fun content with it, but, you know, the shtick got kind of old for people at the end, I think. So I definitely don't regret getting rid of the Turbo Busa, that's for sure. Another bike I don't regret getting rid of is my very first motorcycle, the Yamaha R3. There's times where I kind of wish that I still had it because it would be kind of a fun nostalgic thing to look back on it and to still own the very first bike I ever bought. But at the same time, it served its duty, and I'm glad that it got to live life after I owned it into someone else's hands who was gonna hopefully own it, maintain it, ride it, do all that fun stuff with it, learn with it, and kind of continue its little life that it needed to live. Beginner motorcycles like the R3 are meant to exchange hands. They're meant to teach people how to ride. They're meant to serve as training tools, and I think hoarding mine would have just been kind of silly. So I actually don't regret getting rid of my Yamaha R3 that I started riding with. All right, let's talk about now some of the hardest bikes to give away. I've bought, I think, 55 different motorcycles to give away here on the channel. And some of them were easy to let go, like I mentioned the CBR 500R, but some of them were really hard to let go. And the one that comes top of mind for me in 2023 was the Ducati V4R. That was a very tough motorcycle to let go. so special, so unique, so fun on track, so good. You know, it's a bummer when you realize that if you do have $40,000 to throw at a motorcycle, it turns out it's pretty freaking good. And so, yeah, I was kind of disappointed to give the motorcycle away, but it's another one kind of like the Turbo Hayabusa, kind of like the R3, where it served its duty. It did what it needed to do in terms of generating buzz and excitement and activity and sales for the store. It certainly did that job. The V4R was one of our best performing motorcycles we ever did on the channel, and that's why we're going to do some more bikes like that in 2025. But boy, it was just motorcycling par excellence, right? It was just literally so perfect in every single way, and I could certainly see having one of those in my stable. The other one I had a really hard time giving away was another Ducati, the Ducati 1098, the yellow one that we did back in 2021. That was a motorcycle that was just super special, really well kept, basically stock. Just gorgeous in the way that it went down the road. Analog, brutal, super bike, you know, from the late 2000s. That was one that I was like, it went to a really good home. The guy that won it was a really good dude, but that was one that I was like, man, this is such a special bike to have here in the shop and to do cool stuff with. It was a riot to ride. It was a handful to ride. It was proper old school Ducati. It was pre-VW Ducati, Ducati making all of their motorcycles extremely nice to ride and that sort of thing. And of course, last on the list of bikes that were really hard to give away, you guys already know what I'm going to say, the Kawasaki ZH2. That was a bike that I think I did 900 miles for the giveaway, which is a lot. We flashed it, we did the dyno tune rather, put the exhaust on it. Just a rowdy, raucous, insane motorcycle, big, fat, dumb Turbo Hayabusa energy. I used to love taking that thing to and from my commute from my old Austin place to the old office that we had, and it was just awesome. It was awesome to ride. It was so much fun. It was just this big, insanely fast beast of a bike, and that's another one that when it was time for it to head on out, I was like, oh man, I'm really gonna miss that bike. Really gonna miss that bike. Well, boys, that wraps up our little trip down memory lane. Bikes I regret selling, bikes I regret buying, some of my favorite giveaway bikes that were hard to let go of, and some bikes that I don't regret letting go of either. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. I truly do appreciate it. We will catch you in the next one. See you later.
All right, everybody, our time is up here on this video. I hope you had fun. If you want to keep the fun going, become a member on YamiNoob.co. You can join the Discord server, ask me questions, hang out with me, submit stuff for the live stream, and best of all, get entered to win our amazing giveaway bikes. This Triumph Street Triple 765 is our newest giveaway bike. Make sure you get entered to win, because do you want to miss this? I wouldn't want to miss. I want to keep this bike, honestly, but I can't. I have to give it away to somebody, so why not make it you?